What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm J-Lag, and I'm here with
NB.
And this episode is recapping and reviewing Siesta Key, episode 15, and it is titled Nightmare on Bradisson Street.
Okay,
relax.
because it was the Halloween episode too, right?
Yes, and I guess it's like
Spooky.
Madisson mixed with Brandon. Which
That's her name. True, yeah.
I didn't get that until like literally
Right
just
now.
So, right off the top, what did you think of the episode?
I liked it. I think it was like full of drums.
Full of the drums.
It was really good. Everyone looked really good in their costumes.
Did you think that they were really good in their costumes?
No, I'm just being sarcastic.
Okay.
I think Paige. Who was your favorite like costume?
I think I have to give it to Paige because she was a scene stealer. If you want,
Guys, we literally like had a 10-minute laugh session right before this because Paige's face.
her literal face.
Like her literal face was ridiculous. This whole scene.
Couldn't take her seriously.
No, but real talk, I think Kelsey's costume was the best.
Yeah, I feel like she
hers
put a
was
lot
more,
of
like,
work
put
into like her
together.
face, but she was
Yeah.
also wearing like just a shirt and
Yeah.
a shorts. So
But I'll give it to her for the face, yeah.
the face. All right, let's get into the episode. So first things first, we get a double narration for the first time ever on Siesta Key. So this is mixed with Brandon and Madisson both narrating different parts of the story.
Bradisson.
Ew. So what did you think of that switch up?
It was okay. It was like whatever. At this point, I'm expecting it to be a different person every time, so I'm like whatever.
Right. Okay. So let's get right into it. So first it starts off with Canvas and Chloe, and they're catching up, and then it cuts like between that scene and then Kelsey and Madisson catching up with Paige.
Right.
So with Canvas and Chloe, they're catching up and they're like, oh, how was it in New York? Like, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, wait, no, that's the other one. That's the other group. Canvas and Chloe talk about the crazy night with Brandon.
Yes, his performance, it was lit.
Right.
He did amazing. He had all the groupies around him.
And the big thing that Canvas reveals in this scene is she saw him leave with the girl, with some chick, and Chloe is like jaw dropped.
She's like, oh, I gotta find out who.
Interesting. I'm gonna do a sneak job because that's what she's good at. And then it cuts to Kelsey and Madisson, and they're talking to Paige, and she was like, "Hey, how's it going, girl?" And she was like, "I kissed Polly last night. It was a regret right away." And Madison's like, I feel like
she was saying it was a regret because like she needed to say that to cover. I feel like deep down Paige like low-key liked Polly.
Oh no, I don't agree with you at all. I don't think that I think she regretted it as soon as she realized it happened. I definitely don't think that they're a good match. I definitely don't think that she's into Polly at all. I just don't see it happening.
Poor guy, he's trying so hard.
But is he though?
No.
So and then it cuts to so Madisson complains about the fact that she hasn't been hearing from Brandon. We talked about this a little bit earlier last week. Do you think, regardless of the cheating aspect of it, do you really think it's fair that Brandon's kind of keeping her high and dry for all these days? Basically, what I'm saying is, would you be okay if your boyfriend was like,
of course
gone
not.
for a bit of time?
But like at the same time, like how real is that storyline? Like that, like they haven't spoken. Like I feel like she would have called him and he would have answered. Like, come on.
That's true. Maybe it's just a part of the storyline. That's true. So anyway, he calls in that moment. So that's, you're right. Because then like conveniently he calls while the cameras are rolling, and he's like, yo, come through for a bonfire I'm having. I miss you. And like, I haven't seen you in forever. So,
like the first thing she would do is like go see her boyfriend if she's back in town.
Like, like whatever. Anyway, so then it cuts to Alex and Juliette, and they're talking about Halloween. She goes to his place and she was like, yo, I already got my costume for you, and I got my costume, and I wrote down Juliette, worst outfit ever.
It wasn't even the fact that it was like the worst outfit. It was like everything about Juliette this episode was like, is she this dumb? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm asking you, like, genuinely. Like, I don't know. Can someone be this stupid? Or is she playing it up for the camera? Is she trying to be like the blonde, like, idiot?
Dumb girl.
Like, I don't know. Like,
no, I definitely think she's actually dumb. So to answer your question,
and boring, and there's like nothing there, and like everything just feels really fake. Like, even her talking to Alex, she was like, "I have a costume. It's my brother's. Why does your brother have a caveman costume?"
Yeah, did you guys go?
Like, were you matching with your brother last year? Like, is that what happened? Like, I was just like, wait, what?
Or did she just have to say it because the producers just wanted to like put that in there? Like, I don't know.
And I almost wanted Alex to be like, "You're gonna wear that to Halloween? Like, can you like wear something like
different,
like
a little bit
nicer?"
more?
Like, but he didn't say that. And I was like, "Oh."
But then
okay,
again, like after you go to see the party, I'm like, oh, okay, everybody's wearing scantily clad like outfits. I'm like, there's not one well thought out outfit. Paige, yeah, really, really good makeup. So anyway, Juliette is just so on top of her saying like we're going as a couple. He's like, yeah, I guess that's totally fine. But then she's like, I don't really care what anybody says, but like whatever, it's not even a big deal. Do you think that
her line of the entire episode was, "I don't even care what anyone else says"?
Who cares about all the bitches?
Yeah,
I think she says or something.
I don't care about anyone else says. I don't even care. I don't even care. I don't care. How many times are you going to say you don't care? Because you do care.
You care.
Obviously.
You obviously care. And that's the thing. I feel like with these kids who are insecure, and you see it also with Polly, they
100%.
have to push themselves out there to put themselves on display so they can be judged and then have a conversation with those people. Like, you could have low-key come in as a couple, but you stromped right in wearing like the tackiest couple outfit ever, and you wanted people's eyes on you. Don't lie.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just be like, I don't care what anybody says. If you cared what anybody, like if you didn't care what anybody says, then you probably wouldn't walk in like that.
Yeah.
But you do care.
You
It's like that whole like
you probably wouldn't even gone to the party in the first place.
yeah, it's like that whole like opposite situation.
Exactly.
You want people to see what you guys are doing, so shut up. Shut up, girl. Then it cuts to Kelsey and Chloe, and they're at the bar. I forgot that Kelsey is also a waitress. That's how she started on this like job in the first place. So he rolls up. Man's got a new car.
I was so happy for him because he was just like last week where we were like poor guys like driving like a beat up car.
Yeah. So like now we turned up. And yeah, so then
and Kelsey was feeling it. She was like, "Damn, that's your new car."
Do you feel like they're kind of pushing them back together in a sense?
I don't even think they're pushing them back together. When Kelsey sees Garrett and when he sees Kelsey, like their face just like lights up. Like you can't even explain it.
Okay.
I still feel like there's
so
chemistry.
You still feel that there is chemistry there.
I still feel like there's chemistry between them.
Okay.
Not that like I want that to happen. I don't really care because I'm like really feeling Carson right now.
True.
To come through, but I could like you can see it on her face. Like she lights up when he comes close to her.
Yeah.
And same with him. That like you didn't really see when he was with Juliette or like when she was with I don't know who she was with and Alex even like right. They just have this different like there's something there.
There's a different there's history there too.
There's a connection that's like more than just like the show and like the scene that they're filming.
For sure. And so yeah, he pulls her aside and he's like, "You were right about Juliette." And yeah, so they just like kind of have a flirt on. And
I hate the way he talks though. It's really annoying me.
It's like, oh
yeah, like you were so right about like that girl. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
She told you from time.
She's like, yo, yeah. So anyway, then it cuts to Tarek and Madison, and so they inserted the scene, but it didn't really flow with the rest of the episode. I feel
like Tarek's storyline is that though. Like it doesn't flow with the show. It doesn't feel like it fits anywhere. I almost feel like he had his own show almost. Yeah, like a docuseries. But like, like it always his scenes somehow always feel very out of place.
Right, which I wish they didn't. But I'm glad they're there.
Because what he's talking about is so real.
Yeah,
he's talking about something that's so real and so raw to him.
And Juliette's like showing her caveman outfit. I don't know, like
what's geography like realistically. So it's like, how can you contrast those two things?
It's
like,
very true. It's very true. So he has a real moment, and he said, and so first of all, we hear from our girl straight out of her mouth. She just gave up on our dream real quick. She's like, engineering's not for me. she's like,
I can't believe it took me to like this point. She's where I realized that I didn't want to do engineering anymore.
I'm like, yo, she went to, like, you tried one time, and you're like, okay, I guess it's over. So what are you gonna do with your life?
I was kind of like sad. I was like, girl, like you were smart.
Like, did you just kill your own career?
I was like down for you to become an engineer. I was like really excited for her life.
She's like, I'm gonna become a model now because that guy in New York told me I could be a model. So done. Anyway, so then she's like, how are you doing? And he's like, my mom kicked me out because she found out that I was gay from like a text message. Yeah. And so he's like, I gotta pick up my shit. And she was like, I'm so sorry. And then that's the last time we see him until like later in the episode. Yeah. So like you said, it was a little out of place.
Did he go to the Halloween party too?
No, that's what I mean. Like there was no connection. He doesn't even show up there.
Maybe she invited him there, but he didn't even come.
Yeah, I mean, or maybe he was there, but like he wasn't a part of the drama. So yeah, he was just like on his own side mission. Then it cuts to Polly and Brandon.
Oh my god.
And like the worst thing you can ever hear as like a critic's review choice is hearing you were so good, and then it's like Polly. Paul. Like, he's not good, so
no, like,
don't
like,
use him as
they're
your
dynamic. They're like pumping each other up, and I'm like, you guys both suck. Like, at this point, like,
just both
let's
stop.
just be real.
Both of you stop. So, I know our recap roundups are at the end of the episode, but yo, Chloe for MVP for
Me
life.
too. I didn't think you were gonna have her. She's mine for
She's
sure.
always yours. That's
I
true.
love her.
Today, this episode, I died.
love her, man. I've been standing by
this
that girl. Like,
bitch came through. She's like, "Oh, hey guys, how's it going?" She's like, because they're sitting at a literal random bar,
Yeah.
and she was like,
I saw your snaps that you were here.
Yeah, she was like, I was on my way home, and then I saw that you guys were like lurking together on Snapchat. I'm like, I'm not even joking. Snapchat is gonna give her like a deal, and if they haven't, go give her a spawn. Go give her a spawn right now. So she basically goes in on Brandon.
Yeah, like
so in, and she knows that he's being shady. So she's like, so where were you? Like, I was looking for you.
She's like, you left. He's like, no, I was there. She's like, no, you weren't. He's like, yeah, I was there till like close.
And then she's like, no,
I was there
stayed.
till close.
Yeah.
Like, you deaf were not there.
And she's like, so where was I at? And he was like, I couldn't drive. And then
He's
he was
like, I
like,
was drinking. I didn't want to drive. He's like trying to act like a freaking normal citizen.
And then he's like, I didn't want to go home. She's like, oh, you didn't go home? Where'd you go home? And he was like, oh, I went to a hotel. By yourself? Like, she was asking every I was like, yo, you're going in.
He's like, I was by myself with like my music equipment. She's like,
I was like, Chloe for the win, man. She was coming in so hard. So the next scene was pretty fake, but that's okay. She does a FaceTime in the Uber with Canvas on the way home. And she's like holding up her phone, and she's like, so hey, I'm just talking to you right now in the car, and this is what's happening. Like, they couldn't, like, I guess, like, set them up for a scene, so they had to show her like talking on the FaceTime, and the car was probably not even moving. Like, let's be real. So anyway, she's talking to Canvas, and basically she says like, yo, Canvas, like, he fully denies that he left with anybody or whatever, and Canvas is like lighting up.
Well, obviously he's gonna deny it. Obviously he's gonna deny it. He's not even telling his girl the story.
Yeah.
Let alone like a random girl that's like stalking him. Like,
he's not gonna be like, oh, truth be told.
Yeah, like, I have to say it now. Like, no.
Anyway, so there's that moment.
Let's just say it right here one more time. Like, do you think he actually cheated on Madisson?
Man, I think you said it really well last episode. If it isn't real, and this is the storyline he decided to go along with, that's a pathetic move to do. Either way, whether or not it was true or not, you were making Madisson look stupid, and at the same time making yourself look pretty stupid. I honestly think so. If you're doing this all for the fame and the money or the storyline, or like, I don't know, it's still like a shitty thing to do. It's a pretty shitty thing to do.
It's funny because if you asked me last week, I would have said like it's 100% fake. But there was something about watching this episode, and I was like, but maybe it was real though. Yeah. Like, maybe he did screw her over.
Right. I do feel like in a sense that he did screw her over, but like, if that's the case, all this drama went down and they had to stage a lot of it.
Yeah, maybe that's like, what happened. They staged it.
I don't know what's real anymore because I'm very confused as to how these guys are acting.
I mean, the whole party, anyways, we'll get to it after.
The best part about this show is if the gag is by the end of this whole season, it's like, we're all actors. Yeah. Like, we're all trying to make a living in Hollywood. Anyway, so then it cuts to Carson and Brandon. Yeah. Good old Carson, man.
Dude, Carson's like winning me over right now. Totally, I don't know what it is.
Totally. I mean, I think it's just because he's a stand-up guy. He's honest and he's very like real. He's a bro, sure, but like he's cool and he seems like he's like pretty down to earth and like way more normal than Brandon. Yeah. So
basically like Brandon throws like this bonfire.
Yeah. So before the girls get there, he's like pretty bummed. He's like, yo, I'm pretty bummed out. And then
when he told Carson for the first time that he did cheat on her, Carson's soul was like broken. He's like, no, man. No.
It was like close-up zoom shot of his face, and he's like
so let down.
He's like, love shattered.
Yeah, he was just like, it's like you could tell he like held Brandon and like Madisson so high probably standard, in his like thing that like he's like, yo, man, no.
How'd you done fuck that up? Yeah, so he's like, I went home with some other woman, and Carson right away, he was like, yo, you gotta tell your girl Madisson. Yeah. And he was like, I don't know when I'm gonna do it. I gotta do it obviously, but like not right now.
He's like, yeah, not tonight. I'm not gonna do it tonight. Yeah. And he's like, okay, but like,
he's like, you should do it soon though. And like, yeah, the entire time Carson's like bummed.
Yeah. And so then the girls come.
So wait, no, that doesn't happen until like later. First it cuts to Alex and Polly costume shopping. Right. And so Polly's glowing himself up so hard.
Polly,
he's like,
I realize he has social awkwardness. He's not a normal person.
Yeah, 100%.
He
He's got some issues. He's got like confidence issues. He's got
which honestly, when you actually look at him, like he's not a bad looking guy.
Yeah, he's
not that bad looking, and like I feel like deep down he has a good heart. I just think he's very awkward and like very insecure. And like just comes from a really shaky foundation. So like
stupid things. Yeah,
really stupid.
So like super. So he like turns up and he's so excited because he's like, yeah, you know, I like.
He's like, yo, Paige is like lurking on me, like it's gonna happen tonight. And Alex is like, are you sure though?
Yeah, because he's like me and Paige hooked up, and I'm like, you just kissed each other one time, like relax. Do you know what hooking up means? So anyway, so then that's his drama, and then Alex is like, okay, whatever, waste man. And then he starts talking about Juliette and how he starts saying how Juliette like decided on their costume already, and Polly's like throwing a few digs in here as if he's been in like a long-term relationship probably ever in his entire life, and he's like, yo, it looks like Juliette's calling the shots again. And Alex is like, no, it's not a big deal, like I pretty much fucked her over for a lot.
I'm gonna let her have this one. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah,
that like you've cheated on her, so like now she's right about everything.
So now she gets to like choose your costumes.
Yeah,
like, your husband's relationship is really dysfunctional. Yeah. And then so that scene ends, but before that scene ends, I wanted to really quickly say that is the worst costume shop I've ever seen in my entire life. Were they at Value Village?
That too, but also, did you notice how like when Polly was talking about Paige, I felt like Alex felt kind of cheesed.
Like he doesn't ever want her.
I feel like Alex is in love with Madisson. Like I feel like he knows at the back of his head that one day he's gonna marry this girl.
Right.
So I feel like when he sees like he wants to marry this
yeah.
girl. So I feel like when he sees his cousin, who he definitely sees lower than him, 100%, right, sees his cousin kind of lurk on this the girl of like it's her sister or whatever. I don't know. His face almost seemed like it's never gonna happen for you, kind of thing. I was
and
like,
I think vice versa.
Some type of way.
And I think vice versa, in a sense, Polly is like, yo, I got this girl.
Yes,
like
exactly.
You know, like this untouchable person that you might
like
have
she's a good girl. And he even said like maybe I need a good girl to like fix me or like make me right or right. And Alex was like, yeah, for sure.
Like, meanwhile, how's that thing going with Juliette? So speaking of Juliette, Hannah and Juliette have a conversation. Oh Hannah. And she's just perma-cheesed. Like,
Hannah turned out better than I thought.
Yeah,
because I feel like she's literally normal.
Guys, episode 13, I called her back from Hannah because I just couldn't even deal with her. Yeah. But now she's a character that I really like.
Yeah, for sure.
And she seems pretty cool.
And it's interesting because I think in the beginning or even last season we saw like a different dynamic where I felt like Juliette was like the queen bee of her crew or her squad, and like everyone like sucked her, you know, whatever, like to be in her squad.
Yeah.
But now I see their dynamic and I'm like, the way Juliette was begging Hannah to like understand her situation with Alex.
Yeah.
I was like, why do you care what your friend thinks so much though? Like you claim that you don't give a shit about what anyone thinks. You're literally begging her to be like, just understand that I'm happy. Like,
she
this is what I want.
Starts fake crying.
Yeah. And Hannah's like, bro, like
she's like, I don't care.
You're crazy
though.
He's gonna screw you over again.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
that dynamic to me was hilarious because I'm thinking like she's like the queen bee, and I'm like, wait, but why are you asking for like
she's
forgiveness?
So insecure.
Like,
and I do feel like in those particular situations it's always a queen bee that's the most insecure,
100%.
who needs all the validation from everybody around her. So anyway, Hannah's just not having it. She's like, yo, and she does make fun of her or she doesn't make fun of her, but she's like, yo, do you know geography? And Juliette's like, what is that even? Like, what is
like
that?
World War One?
I'm like, please stop talking. Just stop
that's
opening your mouth.
Like, is she faking it? I really hope she's faking it.
No, I don't think she is, and that's the most unfortunate part of the situation. So she also gets mad at, or she whines about the fact that Chloe still pissed at her from her birthday party and like her ruining her birthday party. The thing that I
forgot that happened.
The thing that I kept writing down is like, you're in Tallahassee now. You're like making new friends. Just keep new friends. Like, why do you got to go back to like the same drama that you know people are judging you on and people are hating on you?
Because that makes it relevant to the show.
You're like, duh.
I dare.
But other than that, like, there's no other reason why.
100%. And it's funny because we do see that conversation happen between Hannah and Chloe at the end. But Chloe actually wrote a tweet last night and she was like, it's funny because Juliette blocked me on Twitter. And like we don't talk anymore. So like something else must have happened where like we're
all seeing this like thing that's gonna explode between Kelsey and her, like not Kelsey, like between Alex and her. Who? Between Juliette at some point in time.
Alex and Juliette?
I feel like something's gonna happen.
Oh, they're still together though.
Are they?
Yeah, because in his Twitter and his vlogs and stuff, you can see them together.
Yeah.
On
Okay.
their Instagrams.
All right, let's move on. So then we get to the Brandon bonfire.
Yeah.
And Carson is just throwing
my God, I love him.
the tea and throwing so much shade.
So how does it happen? Brandon's like, they're like, Brandon, how was your
She's like, so
how was your concert? And he's like, yeah, like it was alright, like whatever. It was like low key.
Yeah, the funniest thing was like Madisson was like, tell me every detail.
Tell me everything, one more.
And Carson, it just keeps cutting. The camera keeps cutting to Carson.
It's
Carson's
just like
face,
Carson's
like,
face. He's like, he's getting more cheese.
More
I don't know
more
what he's
cheese.
getting
I'm like,
cheese about. Where did you come from?
He's like, tell the truth, tell the truth. So then he just keeps getting pissed, and then they like go to the bathroom. The girls go to the bathroom, and Brandon says something like, oh, like, don't go to my room because like there's some nudes of you.
Yeah.
And then Carson, like, low-key, like under his breath is like, oh, you probably have some nudes of somebody else though.
Yeah, like he was so high
and
key in this
like,
moment.
Brandon's like, yo, what do you want me to
and
do
Brandon
right
had
now?
to like wait for the girls to like dip. He's like, bro, what's your problem? He's like, what are you saying? Like, why are you trying to beat me out right now? And Carson's like, whatever, like you have to tell her. But like it was a little weird on Carson's part. I have to say. Like,
I will say that like he
you
was
have to
getting a
push it
little
right then.
extra. Like
Yeah.
he was being a little thing.
That one felt very fake.
But at the same time, like, yo,
It's not your business. You know what I mean? Let him deal with it when he wants.
I guess that's true. So then it cuts to Tarek.
Mm-hmm.
And he has this moment with his mom, and he comes to pick up his stuff, and then he has a conversation. So what did you think of this whole
You know
sitch?
what? This conversation was so eye-opening. I was like so shocked because I did not think his mom was going to let them film in their house, number one.
Right.
And especially about like this whole drama. And it was just interesting to hear like her perspective on it all, because when he does come out to her, she's like, you guys think that it's so easy to understand this, so you need to give me time.
Yeah.
So she wasn't saying that like, I'm never gonna love you. She's just saying like, bro, I need time to like process this, that my son is gay. Like,
yes.
I was like, oh, true. Like, I guess for our generation it's different.
Yeah.
For our generation, like, it's what we've always
Yeah.
known. So like it's
And
different.
it's not,
but
yeah, you
for her
can't.
to say, I don't get it, like let me like process it. I was
Right.
like, whoa.
I mean, I like, it seems that he already has like a bit of animosity between him and his mom even before like the come out. Like he was like, you weren't here for me when my friend died, and this and this.
Well, it was probably because of that, right? Like
right.
she knew.
So
like,
there's all these underlying overtones that are like, the relationship is not too hot right now. And in a sense,
but it's because of that.
But it's because of that. And in a sense, I do agree with her, because I do feel that, you know, Tarek is coming out of the woodwork. He never really officially came out to her. Because like even in this particular scene, she was like, so are you going to even tell me that you're gay?
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah,
I know.
I'm
I was
gay.
so shocked. I was like, wow, he didn't even tell her before this.
He didn't have that conversation with her. And I think, you know, like talking to my mom personally about it, just like get really personal really quickly, is like, you know, I think parents just want to hear it from somebody instead of hearing it on a TV show, instead of hearing it like through a text, by finding a text. You want to hear it from the person that you love. That's the person that birthed you out of their Virginias. Like
Yeah, that's true.
you know, there's a heart there with that person. Like, yeah, she might not understand 100% because of her beliefs and this and this, but I 100% don't believe that she would never understand.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
it does sound like, because I think at one point she was like, you're gonna leave, like it looked like she didn't want him to leave the house.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, he's the one that's closing the conversation, and then
Yeah.
he can turn around and say like, my mom kicked me out, or like, you know, like I felt like I was in a negative environment. But you need to work through those things.
Yeah.
I know
think
it's difficult.
Honestly, I think she
but
made such an amazing point, and in a perspective that like I don't think you see all the time.
Yeah.
Like for her to say it like that, and I didn't feel as if she was saying like, get the F out of my house, I never want to see you again. It was
yeah.
like, I need time to like process this.
Right. And I agree that like, you know, I think it was even maybe in the show's doing, like the way they edited it, they didn't make her look like she was a full out villain. They let her have her say, and she wasn't like, you're disgusting, I can't believe you people. Yeah, she's saying you people because she doesn't understand, and her the only person that she probably knows and understands is like her son, and even that she barely understands because they don't have a good relationship. So it all takes time. I'm wishing you guys the best, because I really feel like that's a situation that I'd like to see like solved by the end of the season. Just before we finish that part, the one thing that I wrote down is when he was like, so would you come to my wedding if I if I asked you to come to my wedding? Like, you
What
can't.
did she say?
She was like, I can't answer that right now. And it's like, you can't throw these big things.
True.
Those are
Yeah,
huge
yeah.
things to ask somebody
Yeah.
who isn't
It's
able
like
to
if I got pregnant, would you be like my grandma?
yeah,
Like, yeah,
don't-
hold on.
dude, like
let
relax.
me think
Like,
about
I
this.
can't even get my head around it. Like, give me some time and help me understand it. Obviously, like,
But at the same time, you could say like it's your kid. You should already understand it.
right,
like, it's
100%.
your-
But at the
you
same
freaking birthed
time, like
this
she has to get over her own like insecurities and like misbeliefs with it too. It's like these fears. It's more fear than anything else, right? I think it's just like the fear of like somebody going to hell, or the fear of someone getting beat up, or like, you know, the judgment that you can place on somebody too, and being like, I'm better than you or whatever. But anyway, let's move on. So then it cuts to the preparation like the preparation of the Halloween party. And so everybody's choosing their outfits. Garrett's like choosing his outfit. He's like choosing some dumb shit. Juliette and Hannah are like getting ready or whatever, and like Juliette's like, I don't even care. I don't care.
Anyway.
And Hannah's just like, bitch, whatever. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. I don't care either.
Like, I'm getting married next year. I don't care about you anymore.
I'll be off this show soon. And then it cuts to Paige and Madison, and Paige is like, I'm gonna do a
Yo, Paige.
Yo.
Guys, you don't see our faces right now.
Like, I
so
died.
You can't even express it, but like the smile on this girl's face that night.
So she painted almost like the American Horror Story, like
that
clown face,
smile.
like with the big, and she kind of says it on purpose. She's like, I'm gonna put it on so like I don't look attractive. So like,
so like no one comes to me.
Yeah. So if he tries to hit on me, I'm gonna like look disgusting.
I feel like it attracted him more.
Yeah, 100%. Well, she was basically in every single scene, and it made me die of laughter every single time. Well. And like that's the thing, like it drew more because she was the only one that looked like crazy.
She looked like she was having the best night of her life, like ear to ear grinning, like she was lit.
She was like ear to ear, literally.
And every time, guys, like in the club, like whenever they would like pan across the room to like a Juliette like drama situation, it was just like Paige like smiling, like looking. She's like, what?
But her lips are normal, but her face is smiling. Oh my god, I died.
She definitely crazy.
Like, you know what it was? I felt like the producer of this episode was like, this is my worst nightmare because you're a main character and you chose like the worst makeup
She's
ever.
Not even a main character.
Like she couldn't even like change it up because like all the dramatic situations. I don't know how they got through that edit. I don't, because like I died of laughter the entire time. So she's like, they're getting ready or whatever. Then it cuts to Brandon and Carson again. And Carson's like, yo, you gonna tell her or what? You're gonna tell her or what? What are you gonna tell her? This part I thought was really fake because I thought they were like really pushing that whole like, are you gonna tell him? Like Brandon's like, I don't know, man, no. I'm like, listen, there's cameras on you. You gotta figure this situation out. Don't be telling me. That's the one thing that I will say about these shows. I guess you can even like lump like Laguna and like The Hills into it. Secrets are not secrets on these shows.
I think, and there's a part later on that Brandon alludes to. I think he knew he had to tell her before the show caught up to their situation.
Oh, okay.
So I think he still thinks in his head he has time to tell her because this is filming.
It's not going to be edited
air to like another 2 months. So
sure.
I still have time kind of to deal with it.
But he also doesn't realize, because he's stupid, that like the way it all plays out is going to be edited by someone, and they're going to show how mad you delayed. You delayed so hard. You fucking waited like 3 days before you even said anything.
And the fact that you even did it when there were cameras around. Like there must have been like 8 cameras that night. Like,
but
you thought you were going to get away with it.
Okay, fine. You make a mistake, you got. Like, dude, just like high key be like, oh yeah, anyway, whatever.
How is that a mistake? You can't, even after when he was trying to justify, I'm like, you literally went to someone's house. You literally like took off your pants. You literally slept with her. Like, it's not a mistake. Like, a mistake is like I ordered the wrong drink. Like,
right.
That's not a mistake. You chose to do that. You literally chose to do that.
Wrong pizza toppings. Yeah, exactly. And then it cuts to Chloe and Canvas, and Canvas is like, I'm gonna be Mother Nature. I'm gonna cause a storm.
What
and
did
Chloe's
you think
like,
about her having
girl?
Like, what did you think about her being the one to tell Brandon? Like, because from the start she's like, I'll tell him.
No, you mean Madison?
No, Canvas.
Canvas telling Madison.
Yeah.
I think that like it was a cool twist, like at the party.
Do you think it was extra?
I think you should stay out of people's business, but she does make a point. She was the one that saw it, so like
No, for sure. I think she
it would
should
have
have.
to,
Yeah.
like it would probably filter back to her anyways.
Yeah.
So she was the one that was being straight with her right away, like cutting out the Chloe middle
Yes,
woman, because you know Chloe would be like,
She would
if
have
you're not gonna tell her, then
exaggerated it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell her, and
Yeah.
then she's gonna be like, well, I heard it from Canvas, and then she's gonna have to go to Canvas anyways.
Exactly.
So anyway, why? What did you think?
No, I think like she had to have like seeing the previews last week for it. I'd be like, why is Candace like getting
In
involved?
this
But I'm like, you know
business.
what? It does make sense because she was saying, hey, look, I did see him leave with someone.
Right.
I don't think she insinuates that like he slept with her, does she?
No.
She doesn't go that far because she doesn't know.
She just said like they
She's
left.
just like, I saw them leave. So
I
like,
saw
that's
them
her.
leave.
That's her part.
But like Brandon had to like anyway push it
Anyways,
forward.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to the Halloween party, and yeah, I don't know where it was.
I don't know where it was.
like
It
a
was like
shed?
it looked like a set.
Yeah.
Like it's like they set up a scene
Like a
for
production
like the
set.
Halloween party.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what it was.
So Polly rolls in and he's dressed like a convict.
And he's already drunk.
And he's so drunk. And I was just like, you're just a
Like, it's just not a good look,
so
yeah.
self-destructive.
I was kind of excited for him to like lurk on Paige. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe like they'll hit it off again. And he was so trashed.
Yeah.
And he was like so fumbling.
He
and
walked
such a,
in
like,
right away. He
not a
was trying to
man.
be such a macho, like whatever, like, oh, pass me the drink. Glug,
Yeah.
glug, 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 like,
And then he took someone's drink after for like that.
yeah,
from, like,
that's what
that
I mean.
crew.
I was like, you're so
Oh,
lame,
you're
man.
so trashy.
Like who do you think you're trying to
like
be
go
right
up to
now?
her, just talk to her like a normal person. Like, how about you don't drink tonight? Like
Jersey
act
Shore
like a
season 1
grown-up.
ended like in 2010. Like go back. Yeah, I was just kind of over it. And like
over it.
and he says in the scene with like Alex when he's picking out the costumes, he's like, oh, you should go as a convict, ha ha ha, because like you went to jail for that
Yeah.
1 second. And Polly says, he's like, no, that's so embarrassing. Of course he shows up in the convict costume.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, everybody's talking about me, like, I don't want to be embarrassed. Like, he has issues. He's got
weird. He's
major
weird. Yeah.
issues.
Like,
Like,
I wrote it down like socially awkward.
like he's got his own like demons that he needs to figure out. So he runs up to Paige and he's like, yo, I need to talk to you for a hot second. And he was like, I don't want you to think, or he says, I don't want you to judge me on tonight. And she was like, I don't want you to judge me on last time.
Yeah.
Like we saw each
She's
other.
like, it was a mistake.
She was like, it was a
Should
mistake.
have never happened. He's like, what? It wasn't a mistake for me.
And then he was
Poor
like,
guy.
he's like, I'm so drunk, bye. Like that's the end of the storyline. And then Chloe the entire time is like the new like drama queen, and she's basically like saying, she's like telling everybody the tea, like, oh, Garrett and Juliette broke up, and like Alex and Juliette might roll up tonight, and Amanda's randomly there, and I'm like,
was she there? I didn't
I'm like,
see
oh, you
her.
guys are friends now? Oh, that's cute. Cause like, where the fuck have you been
What
this whole
happened to
time?
her? Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. And then what happened? Oh, then Juliette and Alex show up.
Right.
They roll up as the couple of the year, whatever.
And like, I swear she walks in and she's like, I don't care what anyone says about me. she's still saying
she's
it.
totally an
as she's
SNL
walking
character
in.
at this point.
She
Like
totally
she
is.
really is. I could see her being played
And that's
by
what I
Kristen
mean.
Wiig.
I'm like, girl, are you this dumb or are you playing this character?
Are you
I really
playing
hope
dumb?
you're playing this character.
No, man. I think she's a real person. I don't think she's faking nothing. So she rolls up and yeah, she's like, I just don't care. Where's my drink? Give me my drink. She says like,
Someone
give
give me a
like,
drink. And
she's
Alex is like, here,
5
bitch.
times.
Like,
Like,
shut up.
oh my God, she just doesn't shut up
Yeah.
when she's like, when she's cheese
nervous.
and she's nervous,
Yeah.
she like turns into like
Yeah.
a crazy person. So, she at one point in time pulls Juliette aside to talk to, or no, Juliette pulls Chloe aside to talk to her,
Yeah.
and they
This
apologize.
was cute. This was a cute moment. That's why I was so shocked that like Chloe's tweet after. Because I was
Right.
like, oh, okay, sick. Like they worked it out.
Right.
Like they're cool now.
Of course not. I wrote down Heidi and Lauren moment.
Very Heidi. I totally felt that. I feel like
She
the
was
editors
like,
were going for
I
like that
miss
same
you. I was like,
vibes.
y'all can't recreate that shit though because it didn't work out as much.
I missed you.
Yeah.
As if they were like that, like good friends.
Yeah, not even. So anyway, so then that happens, and then the big moment of the episode is Canvas rolls up
And
and
it was-
talks to Madisson because the entire party, she's like everybody's seeing Brandon talk to dance with her and
Yeah.
everything's fine, like Kiki, whatever. And so they're all good with it. And then like it cuts to Canvas and then it cuts to Carson. Like both people are like, yo, what's going on up in here?
This is why I felt like this whole scene, this whole Halloween night thing was very fake.
Right.
Because first of all, you would never go up to this girl at a Halloween party and tell her this.
Right.
Like there's a time and place for everything. You could like text her like tomorrow and be like, hey, I gotta tell you something like ASAP. You don't say it like in the middle of a freaking party.
Yeah, they needed to push
so
it on
just
to one
felt very
scene.
fake, this whole like Halloween night, whatever. And yeah, like her going up to her and like
even her saying, so like she goes up to Madison and Madison is like, I don't know why you're even talking to me, we're not even friends. And she was like, yo, I need to tell you something, your man like left with some girl and that's all I want to say about it. And like Madison starts to glitch out a little bit,
glitch out like right away,
and she gets angry at Canvas, and Canvas is like, it has nothing to do with me, it's more for you, I don't care like what you guys do, but like I feel like you need to know because that's some shady shit, and you know I've dated musicians and whatever.
This is what they do.
And
the best part of that conversation though was like when she's like, look, like I know this is like pretty messed up. She's like, I know, like you probably can't trust him. She's like, anyways, have a good night, bye. Like, like I'm like, what? Yeah. You just like ruined this girl's life, and you're like, okay, have a good night, bye. I was like, good night. She ain't not having a good night. She's not gonna have a good month. Like you're just, like she's done. What the hell? And that seemed fake too. I was like, yeah, like
try to have a good night.
No, it wasn't even. I don't think it was even try. It was like have a good night, like have fun. I'm like, no,
it's not gonna happen.
I don't think she even said try.
Madison's like whole world is shattered, and so she walks over to. So she walks over to.
And then all you see is Paige's smiling.
So
got 2 pages because that's what was happening.
Yeah,
because like as they were talking, things were getting louder.
Yeah.
Cut to Paige looking around like with smiling face.
Cut to like the most serious moment of like even the music is trying to get dramatic. Like in the background, it's like dun, dun,
and you
dun.
see this clown smiling in the corner.
Because like Brandon and her are like talking to each other, and Madison rolls in.
Yeah.
I feel like the producers are probably like, "Can you please get your sister out of my shot?
You'll get Paige out of this frame."
Because we're about to have a
She's contrasting like the tone of this shot right now. This is supposed to be really messed up.
Can you imagine? Like you're finding out your boyfriend's cheating on you, and in the background, it's your like
my God.
friend or sister, like with this crazy ass makeup with a smile on her face, like died. So she's like, "Can you please leave us alone?" And she's like, okay, bye. But she doesn't even turn her head. She like, her face is still on camera, and she's like walking backwards as she's saying bye. And she's like, okay, bye. And she's just like looking
she's like
away.
feeding into the darkness.
But she's
like the club.
Smile.
all you can see is that white smile. Like it was so
Oh
freaky.
my God, I can't. I need gifs everywhere, guys.
So then Madison approaches Brandon, right?
So yeah, so then finally when she leaves the scene, Madison is like she's freaking out too. She's like she's being weird, she's not talking, and then she says like Canvas came up to me and told me that you left with a girl.
Right.
And he was like,
doesn't even try.
She doesn't even try.
To try to deny it. He's like, yeah, I did.
I mean, at this point in time,
he does a little bit. He's like,
No, he just says like, I fucked up. He's like, I really fucked up.
And then when he said that, she freaked out.
She lost her shit.
She's like, what?
Yeah.
She's like, are you kidding me? Like, I had to hear this from this bitch?
Yeah. So like, that's the hardest thing is like, what's the worst part about the situation?
And then everyone starts, like, it's cutting to like everyone overhearing them.
Right.
So at this point, like, Polly's looking, like, Alex, Juliette, everyone's like looking over at them, kind of. Chloe with her dumbass face. Paige's smile is like glowing up, like it's getting heated now. And then I think they take it outside.
Yeah. So then they're yelling at each other in the rain, and it gets like really, really like fucked up.
And then she asked him. She's like, "You went back to her house, and then what?"
Yeah.
She's like, "You slept with her?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Such an idiot.
Oh my God.
What a dumbass. I can't believe that he
So they went outside.
They
fought like a bit more. And I was expecting everyone to like come out and to be like, I was expecting to see that smiley face like come around the corner. But no one does. And then she was like, I need you to leave like right now.
Right.
I need you to leave. And he's like, babe, no, like, babe, shut up.
Just
like,
go.
don't babe me right now. Like, get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah.
You just slept with someone else. Like, that's disgusting. Leave. And he's like, okay, I'll leave the party. I'm like, yeah, leave.
Yeah, go now.
I hate him. I don't like him at all.
No, I feel like that's what I mean. I feel like fake or real, I feel like you're such a trash person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you totally suck as a person. So whatever, man. So that ends the
So
whole
yeah, no one
episode.
even comes out to her. Like she's crying outside.
She's like crying, yeah. And then that's it. Let's get into our recap roundups.
Recap roundups.
Best moment. My best moment is gonna go to my homeboy Carson, because I just think he's looking so much finer right now.
Yeah.
And number 2, I love the way he books Brandon at the bonfire. He's
Yeah.
like, so he's like, you're gonna tell her tonight?
Like right now.
He's like, who else are you hiding up in that room? Who else? I was like, oh my god, he's like lurking in
he went
so
in
hard.
so hard, especially the bonfire. I was dying.
Yeah,
like,
and
it was
like
so
it
funny.
seems like he has a good heart. Like it seems like he's someone who like wants to do the right thing.
For sure.
Because when Brandon did tell him, like he was so cheese. He's
Yeah.
like, no man. Like
Yeah.
she's a good girl. Like you don't do this to her. You know.
Exactly. He's like
cute. I like him.
He's like a loyal person. My best moment goes to Canvas telling Madisson, because I feel like, you know, she is like a bit of a drama queen, Canvas, but at the same time, like she was the only person that came up and said, listen, I need to tell you the story.
Right.
Here's about all my, like, you know, like this is the whole situation.
And
so,
honestly, like, and I said from the beginning, I was like, I think she has such an amazing backstory. I want to like see her more. And she even says, she's like, I don't want Brandon. Like, I really
that's
don't
not even
want
my
him.
thing,
Like,
but I
that's
feel
not
like
why she's saying it.
she's like setting it aside to say, like, listen,
she's
you need
saying,
to
like,
know.
girl. Like she's
Dude,
saying, like,
I mean,
bro, like I saw
yeah.
him leave with a girl. I'm gonna tell you regardless if
I
we're
guess-
enemies or not. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Do you think that there is some part of her that's just like giggling a little bit?
No, I don't think so. That's so juvenile, and I feel like she's over. I don't think she even wanted Brandon.
She's better
ever.
than that
yeah,
at this
like,
point. That's true.
Yeah, even she says it. She's like, when I saw him leave with that girl, I was like, ew, no.
Yeah, that's like not what I want.
It's a turn off.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
WTF moment.
What was your WTF moment?
My WTF moment is Candace telling Madisson at the party, because I was just like, what's going on? Like, why are you dropping this bomb like right now? It's one thing to like find that out, another thing to like find out at a party when everyone is around you, like looking at you and like overhearing this conversation.
Yeah.
It's just like a very like, I don't know.
Like,
I wish I could know if it really
you're
happened
like yelling
like
over the
that.
music. You're like,
Yeah.
I saw your boyfriend cheating
Like, I'm
on
just
you.
so curious if that actually happened that way.
Yeah, it'd be really.
But you know what?
stupid
You're
if
right. I
was
bet you it
different.
did happen, but they like reenacted it
They
maybe
had to
after.
reenact it. Yeah.
Which is like, oh my god, that's so bad.
So sad for the people who are
for
involved.
Madisson.
Like,
Because honestly, I have to say, Madison's reaction was very like, it looked very genuine.
Yeah.
Like either this girl's gonna be like an actress now, not an engineer, but like her reaction was very real. And, like I felt her like hurt. Yeah.
That's true. Okay.
What's your?
My WTF moment was Polly lurking up on page part 2 for 2 reasons. One, because I was like, that's so pathetic, and like I can't believe that you're trying this one more time. You were drunk, like AF.
Yeah.
And on top of that, her face killed me. Because like, she couldn't even like be normal in that moment.
I feel like she literally said, I need to dress up as the ugliest, scariest, like
most disgusting
dick shrinking moment costume ever, so that Polly doesn't lurk up on me, and he still lurked up on her. Like he still came beside
it
her.
was too much. I couldn't.
MVP. My MVP is gonna go to my girl Chloe, because I feel like you know, she's been my girl this whole time. I honestly truly feel like she has a good heart. She does get in the middle of the drama. She also released a photo this morning that's on my feed, and it said that she's been dating this guy for like from time now. She's like, I do not want to talk about my relationship. It's been private. He doesn't want to be on camera.
Yeah.
She goes, but for all the haters that are saying that like I'm just jealous because I don't have a man, she's like, well, I do have a man, and like I've been with him for a long time.
Right.
It's just that like I keep it on the side.
Right.
And so I think she understands that her role in the show is like the drama. She creates the drama, or like she spreads the drama at
she's
least.
the drama
and I think she's
collector.
okay with it. But I also think that she's also the tie of these two groups. Like I feel like she ties Juliette into these people, and now she ties like Garrett in as well. And so I think her role is still really important in the show.
Yeah.
Because I think she's a really cool person. I really do. I feel like she's so much fun to like go out and drink with.
Right.
It's just like, yeah, like she gets into the drama.
Yeah, and I think that's why, I mean, she's my MVP this episode too, for the first time ever. But yeah, I agree with you. I think when I first started to like see her, I was like, she's too much drama. She's always like creating shit around her. Like, why is she on Snapchat and shit? But this episode, she came through the right way in a sense.
Yes.
And I think she wasn't inserting herself in a sense that it was like very, very like diabolical or like rude. It was like, yo, I'm watching out for my friends. I do care about my
Yeah.
friends, and like, you know, this is how I go about it.
And you know what? You have to say that people do change. You have to let people change and like
Yes.
fix themselves. And I think with her, she has come a long way.
I think she's trying.
She's
I think she's
trying very hard
trying.
to be her own person. Like even just moving out on her own and all that. I do feel like she's becoming her own self, and
Right.
I respect that. I can see it. Unlike other people like Polly, like you think that he's about to turn a corner and become a better person, but here
Right.
he is again, like a trash bag. Like he's just not getting any better. He's not trying to like
Yeah.
fix himself. So
Yeah.
like there's those characters too, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And Brandon.
LVP.
Who's your LVP?
My LVP is gonna go to Polly.
Okay.
Because I know like you were hating on like him and Paige last week, but I was like rooting for him. I was
Right.
like, I feel like they're both very awkward people. Like I feel like Paige is very awkward too. So I feel like they would have been a cute couple in that way. Like they're kind of just like weird.
Yeah.
And I was rooting for him. I was like, Polly, get your shit together, please. And you can go lurk on her and like see what happens.
And then
He could not get his shit together. I was like, man, what are you doing? You're like already drunk. The party just started. Like
man.
it's just not a good look. Like go like find whatever it is that like you're like your pain is over. I don't know.
Right.
Like just go fix yourself.
figure your life
Figure
out.
your shit out.
Yeah, I 100% agree. He's not my LVP necessarily because I think that Brandon is a fuck up in this episode. But yeah, 100%. I think that like I said last episode, he's got a lot of demons that he's got to figure out. He's got to like figure his shit out. And I just feel like you either need to like get out of the situation because it's obviously like too toxic for you, or like just go.
Just be a stronger person.
Or
I
be
feel
a
like.
stronger
He
person.
needs
And
to
I
have
just
more
don't think that
confidence.
he has that
I
person
think
in his
so
life.
many of us, especially in our generation, we try to mask our insecurities with alcohol or like drugs or whatever, like partying and like just partying's fine, it's fun, go chill with your friends, go like do whatever you gotta do, have fun, but like just know who you are and have that confidence to like just own your shit. Like same with Juliette, like dude, no one cares. Like you can be with Alex, go be with Alex. Like you want his D, go get his D. Nobody
Right.
gives a shit. But like own it. Just own it and just go fully through
Yeah.
it and just say, yeah, this is my man. Even if he cheats on me, he's my man. Like I still want him.
Yeah.
Cool, done. Sorry, like we're done. But
Exactly.
you're sitting here claiming that like you don't care, but like you do care.
You do
though.
care. Of course you do. Yeah.
The best line. My best quote was from Kelsey, because she's kind of been like,
Oh, hey,
low-key
girl,
episode.
yeah.
And I
Forgot
love
about
when
her.
she was like, I think they were all sort of talking about Juliette and like how she was coming with Alex and stuff.
Right.
And she was like, dude, nobody cares. Like none of us want Alex anymore. Like get over yourself. Like no one cares anymore.
Yeah.
And I just burst out laughing because I'm like, I feel like that's the whole show. Like nobody cares about Alex anymore.
Yeah.
Move on with your life.
Let's move
You
on.
can have him.
Exactly. My favorite line is a Hannah Juliette moment. Of course, we mentioned it earlier. Hannah says, "Did you ever take geography by chance?" And Juliette responds with, "What is that about? Like World War I or some shit?" Like this is, I wrote it down
So
word for word, like
I didn't want
verbatim.
this to be my line because I don't want to highlight the fact that this girl's an idiot. I really don't. I don't want to hate on this girl.
But I do.
But it's just like, it blows my mind that you're on this show, and if I was in her shoes, I'd want to put like my best foot forward, or like just
Your
try
best
to,
image
just
forward.
try to put my best image, or like show something different.
You know,
Like,
people
you
are-
are the stereotype. Like people look at you and you are fulfilling every single stereotype there is
Yeah.
of you out there. Like why can't you be different?
And that's why I feel like, you know, like you're asking, like, is this a real person? Like legit, you're asking, this is a real person, because it's so hard to believe that someone would be that stupid
Yeah.
to put that out into
and
the
like
world.
even Hannah didn't respond. Like she was just like,
She's like, I can't.
she's like, yeah, whatever. And then Juliette's like, oh yeah, you take like an actual major, like you're smart, like
Yeah.
you do something smart. I was like,
she's like, yeah, I'm smart.
like she can't even like help you in this conversation. Like you're trying
like,
to
dug
pull her
yourself,
in, but, like
yeah.
she's like, I know
She's
what
like, I can't
geography
fix,
is though.
I can't fix the situation for you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you like done fucked yourself up.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's a.
I honestly, my wish for this season, and like forget Alex because like whatever, but like my wish for this season is like for her to come on top, to come through,
Yeah.
to like show us that like we were wrong this whole time.
Right.
That like she's a sick person.
Yeah.
Like she's actually a cool person
But
that like
she
I would want to
ain't-
like
yeah.
go to drinks with and like chill. But honestly,
I don't
think
know,
that's gonna
man.
happen.
She's 20 something years old. She's like been her person for this long. I don't know how that's gonna happen.
yeah.
Anyway, on that note, I hope you guys have been enjoying our podcast
Siesta
for
Key.
Siesta Key. Please let us know by liking and commenting and subscribing to our channel if you haven't already. And that's pretty much it. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.